Onwa Marine Electronics was established in 1999, and at that time they were a company that just produced CB radios for boats. Well, now they've expanded their line to a whole array of marine electronics, and today we're going to look at one of their latest offerings, the KM series. Right here in this box I've got the Onwa KM-8C, and we're going to do an unboxing. First thing we have is our user manual, which we'll look at a little closer in a minute. Got a box of parts here. We've got our display. We'll take a look at that closer in a moment. So this box of parts, let's see what we get in here. So being the C model, we have a transducer in here. So we have our transducer manual. Then we have transducer and mount. Got our external GPS antenna here. This is the KA-07 model. We've got power cable, gimbal knobs, flush mount kit, some mounting hardware, and data connector. Got our flush mounting gasket. And finally, we've got our mount. So let's get all this out of the packaging to take a closer look. We actually have two sets of knobs here, and I'll explain how we use those in a little bit. We have our power cable. Now, as far as the transducer goes, this is an optional accessory. We've got our transducer mount and hardware. And there's your transducer. This is the KTD520. And of course, the most exciting part is the Onwa KM-8 display. So this is actually my first time laying hands on this unit. So I'm going to take a look, let you guys know what I think. If you've just found this channel, my name is Lauren Wetzel, and I've been in the marine electronics industry for the past 22 years. And the whole purpose of the in-depth Sonar channel is just to teach you about marine electronics, helping you with purchase, helping you with using, and even unboxing new products like this one from Onwa Marine today. So if you like this video and find these videos helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see the latest videos we have to offer. So now that I've had a chance to get this out of the box, take a look at everything, I just kind of want to give you guys my first impressions on this product. So this unit does not have a built-in antenna. So we'll start with the GPS antenna here. So this GPS antenna here is quite small. It's maybe 3 inches tall, about 2 inches or so in diameter, and it looks like it'll fit the standard 1-inch thread. Quite a bit of cable comes with this. There's got to be about 25 feet of cable here, and then it has a BNC connector on the end. Next, we've got our power cable here, and it's just a standard 2-prong connection, red and black wire on the other end, and it looks like there is a shield or drain that is tied into your black wire, which is your negative. Got about 4 or 6 feet here, which will be plenty. If you need to extend it, obviously you can do that from the bare end. Now our flush mount gasket here, pretty basic, just some 3M 2-sided tape that will hold that on there. And then in the kit here, we also have our 4 Phillips flush mount screws and then nuts on the other end. Would like to have seen locking nuts here. These are just standard nuts, but a little Loctite will fix that. Also in that hardware kit, we got 4 Phillips screws that will allow you to mount your bracket, a couple spare fuses, and then finally we've got our data connector. Now, bare connector, there's no wires coming off this. You might wonder what's going on with that, but you wire this up yourself. So the connector just unscrews, and then you're able to wire to each of these pins, and all the instructions are in the manual there as to what pin does what, and then you can assemble the connector together to give you the data connection. So this would be used if you have an autopilot, a VHF radio, or any other device that you want to output the information through NMEA 0183. Now for our transducer here, this is a pretty standard design transducer. You've probably seen this type of design before, and this one again is the KTD520 model. And then we have a 6-pin connector up on the top here. Probably about 25 feet or so of cable. Now, one thing they did that I really like is added this extra protective sleeve on here. You can slide this up the cable to the point where it goes into the boat. So if there's any bends or anything like that, this will add protection. The other thing you could do is slide it all the way down. So if there's rodents or anything like that, you're able to protect that cable right at the water line. So hopefully any animals like a muskrat or otter doesn't chew that up. Transducer bracket, they give you all the hardware in there as well. These ones are kind of a pain, to be honest with you. It is a adjustable design. I'll show it to you once I get it assembled here. It's not my favorite type of transducer design, but it will get the job done. Unit also came with a screen cover. It is fairly thin, you know, soft rubber. It's not a hard plastic, but again, it will protect the screen when it's in storage. Now for the unit itself. There's quite a few features on this unit so far, hardware-wise and build quality-wise, that I do like, so I'm gonna go over those with you right now. And if you're interested to see how this unit actually works and performs, check out this review video I did on this KM-8 series chart plotter from Onwa. On the back of the unit here, we've got all of our connections. We've got our RJ45 Ethernet connection, we have our NMEA 2000 connection, the data connector I showed you will plug in here, transducer. There is also, depending on the model you have, a possibility of having a VHF antenna connection, power connection, our fuse, which is where our replacement fuses will go, GPS antenna here as well. Then on the back, we also have a chassis ground if you need that for your application. It would be nice if they did include one other of these plug covers for the NMEA 2000 port, but other than that, not a big deal. There is also a bit of information on the back here. So all of the connectors are labeled so you can see exactly what it is. Then we also have our serial number, we've got input voltage, the model number, and then the safe mounting distance for a compass. And this seal here, when I first saw this seal, I was a little concerned, but it is actually on there quite well for the optional port. So if you didn't have a transducer, you'd probably have a seal on there as well. Now, coming to the front of the display, we have a full 8-inch diagonal screen here. We've got our full keypad and buttons, and they do press quite nicely. We've got our main control center up here, which we have our check key in the middle. We have our 4 arrow keys. Now the KM series also has keys in between the arrows. So these little hash marks are actually keys. Typically with a lot of units, you'd actually have to press the right arrow and the down arrow at the same time to move in that direction. Well, this one we actually have a hard key in order to do that. We've got our check key, our exit key, menu and mode up here. We've got function, man overboard, power and brightness controls. And then these 2 keys are actually zoom in and zoom out. So you can see the arrows moving together will zoom you in and then zoom you out. Here on the side of the unit, we have our micro SD card slot. That will allow you to put in a Navionics card, a K-chart, or a C-map. On the side of the unit here, we've got our 2 inserts, 2 per side, to allow the gimbal knobs to go in. Now I mentioned there's 2 knobs for each side. And this is how the unit is actually able to tilt in the bracket. So if you're getting glare on the screen or light like we are right now, we can actually tilt that down to get rid of that. Typically we'll see interlocking teeth on the bracket and on the unit in order to allow you to tilt it. But this uses a 2 knob system. Let me show you how that works. So the way I found this to work the easiest is to start the top knob. You can then take the bracket, put it in on either side, and tighten those guys down. Now you're able to pivot and move that screen as you need. When you get it to the position you'd like, you take your second knob, screw it in place, and now that's going to lock the unit in that tilt position. So the downside to this system is it's not as adjustable as the interlocking teeth, but it is much more secure because it is going to secure it into place and there's no chance it's going to move. That's the unboxing and my first initial thoughts of this Onwa Marine Electronics KM-8C chart plotter. If you're interested in purchasing one of these, use the coupon code in the description and all the details can be found there as well on how to place an order with Onwa Marine Electronics. The only thing left to do now is get a battery, power this guy up, and see how it looks.